We all know that the leader of a community, the leader of a tribe, is very important. And we also know that they often influence politics. That's why politicians are always fighting to get the ear of the clan elders, the tribal elders, etc., etc. And if they can get the leader of the community on their side, they know they're home and dry. Yeah, they'll be able to win an election easily, because most Kenyans are still very traditional, close to their culture, even in this modern age. And so with this information, I need to ask you a question. Who is the leader of the Kalenjin community? And let me tell you, it's not Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. No. It is in fact somebody opposing him. So I need to pose the next question. Do you think this will influence the votes William Samoei Ruto gets on August 9th? Well, stick with me, because that is what we're going to cover in this video. Very fascinating stuff. Very, very fascinating stuff. Super fascinating. Karibu sana and enjoy. Who is the spokesman of the Kalenjin nation? Who speaks for the Kalenjin nation? Yeah, over the issues? Now, the answer to that question may not be as obvious as you think. Yeah, because the right answer, the correct answer, based on my intensive research, is Gideon Moi. Oh yes. But let us go deeper, because there's a real story here which I want to bring to your attention. Now, in the old days, it was very simple. For you to be spokesman of the community, it was critical, it was mandatory that you were installed by the Talai clan elders. Now, the Talai clan spread all over Kalenjin Rift Valley, and they're a very important clan in the community, because these are actually the ancestors of a very famous son of the Kalenjin nation, whom everybody knows, everybody has heard of, called Koitalel Arap Samoei. Yule jamaa alideal na wazungu mpaka wakajua ile walikuwa wajui. You know, the Nandi resistance kept the railway waiting. Yeah, it couldn't be built beyond the area for 11 long years. In the end, they had to use dirty tactics to get rid of this great son of Africa. Bottom line, Talai elders, very important. So, let's come back to the present. Which of the two major Kalenjin leaders, Gideon Moi and Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, has been anointed by the clan, by the Talai clan? Answer, both of them. Nakwambia Kenya yetu. Now, for those who follow the news closely, you will remember that in late 2020, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto was installed by the Talai clan in a dawn meeting, which we even covered on this channel. And you'll remember it kicked up quite a storm. It was very controversial, because people were asking, why do you want to do things at night? Or early morning very early morning when it is still dark? Why not do these things in the light, etc., etc.? And then, early January, let's say mid-January, around 22nd, 23rd, Gideon Moi was also appointed spokesperson of the clan. Interestingly, this particular function took place in West Pokot. The elders said they wanted to avoid controversy and confrontation with the other splinter group of the clan. Now, based on that alone, you know already, hapa iko shida, because two gentlemen have been appointed spokesperson. And I've already given you my verdict, but stay with me and you'll see why I've told you it's Gideon Moi. Now, fascinatingly, both splinter groups of the Talai clan elders accuse each other of being greedy for money and commercializing the whole thing, and abandoning the very strict, well-laid plans and rules for appointing a person as spokesperson of the community, which worked like clockwork with a man called Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, Kenya's second president, and by the way, Gideon Moi's father. But now let us move into the politics, because that's where it really matters. Now, it goes without saying that a person is appointed the political leader, the political spokesperson of a community based on their political power and influence. Isn't that correct? Of course. Now, let me just give you a recent example. In the Moi family, after the older Moi, Kenya's second president, passed on, momentarily there was a problem, because Gideon Moi has an older brother who is also in politics, Raymond Moi, who is a legislator. And everybody knows Moi's siblings si marafiki sana, if you know what I mean. Over the years, there's been a lot of drama between the brothers. And of course, the bone of contention is the decision by the father to give power and honor to the lastborn. Gideon is the lastborn. Anyway, this was very quickly sorted out by that one factor. Who has more influence? There was no competition. Gideon has much more influence. He has direct access to his close childhood buddy and the current president of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. And so a very emotional Gideon, this was televised, a very emotional Gideon accepted the baton of leadership that belonged to his father, with tears in his eyes. And he said he was feeling overwhelmed as to whether he'll be able to come anywhere near stepping into the shoes of the previous owner of that baton. A giant in politics, ruled Kenya for 24 years, etc., etc. But of course, Gideon knows the rules. He knows how this game is played. He has been in politics for long. He had the ear of his father, and he was also always listening very closely to his father. And so I'm sure he learned a lot from his dad. He had a political lecturer just like me, although his was much more qualified. No offense taken. Now, the super fascinating thing here, which I must quickly point out before we proceed, is that in case William Samuel Ruto wins the presidency in August, then the Talai elders will quickly have to resummon him, both splinter groups, and anoint him, appoint him the leader and the spokesperson of the community. Kunaendanga hivyo. But as matters stand now, although William Samoei Ruto is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the second most powerful person in this country on paper. The reality, the reality is that Gideon Moi at the moment is more powerful than William Samoei Ruto. My apologies to foreigners. My apologies to non-Kenyans, who I'm sure are very confused right now. But I need to warn them. Kenyans ni wazimu. The things that happen in Kenya, you don't want to know. And if you get too deeply involved, utakuwa confused mpaka ushike wazimu. Kwa hivyo wachana tu na Wakenya. Okay, let me just leave it at that. Just leave Kenyans alone. They can't be understood. But that is the reality on the ground. Gideon Moi is much more powerful than William Samoei Ruto at the moment. And if William Samoei Ruto happens to lose the presidency, or let me just put it another way, if William Samoei Ruto does not ascend to the presidency, then the leader and the spokesperson of the Kalenjin community will remain Gideon Moi. Now, for those of us who are still not with me, a bit confused, let us agree first of all that usually political power comes through elections. Okay? However, that is not the only way somebody can gain political clout and become spokesperson and leader of a community. Because, don't forget, the reason why you appoint a leader is to get your things done. The reason why you appoint a leader is so that if something goes wrong with a member of the community, they can rush to their leader, the leader of their community, and appeal their case. And because the leader of their community is influential politically, anajuana na wakubwa, they'll be able to solve that problem. So in other words, you don't appoint somebody who's in the opposition. No, you appoint somebody who is close to government. That's really what it is. And therefore, it is also true to say, although in most instances political clout comes through an election, the people electing you, you having majority support on the ground, many other times it can come in through you being appointed by the powerful. The powerful calling you closer to the high table. You sitting closer to the head of state, etc., etc. Let me give you practical examples from Kenya's past. During the Moi presidency, there was a man called Mulu Mutisia who had never stepped into a classroom, even for a few minutes in his entire life. He was illiterate. Who was the leader of the Kamba community. Now at that time, we had many other leaders from the Kamba nation, including people like Paul Ngei, who were educated, and many, many others. And most of these people were all elected. Mulu Mutisia was a nominated member of parliament. Nobody ever elected him. But he was the leader of the community. Why? Because he was close to Moi. My late political lecturer once told me that Mulu Mutisia used to go to State House every month to receive his salary, in quotes, which in those days was 100K, 100,000 Kenya shillings, every month. And as leader of the Kamba nation, his main responsibility, wait for this one, was to take Mshene to Moi. Oh, this Kamba leader said that Kamba leader said that, this Kamba leader is not towing the line, this particular Kamba leader is following Paul Ngei, who as you know is against you, so what shall we do? Those were the meetings. 100K pop. Hey, Kenya. And one day, a member of the foreign media asked Mulu Mutisia, I'm sure they were using somebody to interpret the languages, because the man couldn't speak English. One day that foreign journalist asked Mulu Mutisia, how can you lead people and you have not gone to school? Mulu Mutisia's response, I am a great leader. There are many other great leaders in Kenya who have not gone to school. Leadership is not going to school. Leadership has got nothing to do with going to school. You either have it or you don't. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing something to that effect. And of course, in those days, there was no social media. But in the informal social media of those days, any people talking about it, that comment went viral for years. Yeah. The catchphrase was, you don't need to go to school to lead Kenyans. Now, of course, the NGOs were livid. Yeah, together with their foreign sponsors. They were telling them, what's wrong with you people? How can you not have laws to block such illiterate people who don't know their left hand from their right hand from rising into leadership? And now I think you can understand where the Sakaja problem started. Where we started demanding that for certain positions, people must go to school. In fact, if I can tell you a secret, initially, those who put together the constitution draft wanted all elected leaders, MCAs, MPs, the governor and his deputy, the president and his deputy, etc., to have a university degree from a recognized institution of higher learning. Now you know where that one came from. It was inspired, if I can put it like that, by people like Mulu Mutisia. But of course things went terribly wrong. Yeah. Those who put this particular clause in the constitution did not realize how crafty politicians can be. Because many people are in office and they don't really have a degree. Yeah. Some of them went to River Road. I think these people didn't really understand how Kenyan politicians operate. I think the big assumption here, by the donors and foreign people who put this clause in our constitution, and of course Kenyans working in that area, who have no idea who our politicians are, who they really are, must have assumed these guys must be idiots. They didn't go to school, therefore they know nothing. Huh? They can be very crafty, because to steal billions of public funds and get away with it, you need some semblance of brains. Ama? You need to be a bit intelligent. Ama? Yeah. These guys did not realize that people can go to River Road in Nairobi. Yeah. Somebody can even go on behalf of his friends. And then when they get there, they order these degrees. The way you go to your local shop and order for foodstuff. Nipatie unga, maziwa, mkate. So they go to River Road and say, nipatie BCom mbili, nipatie masters moja, PhD, nafikiri nipatie 3. Hiyo itakuwa pesa ngapi? I'm telling you, Kenya. Hey, usicheze na Kenya. Anyway, I was talking about political clout. And Mulu Mutisia was very powerful. There were so many educated Kambas within government who daraud Mulu Mutisia, underestimated him, and underestimated the power he wielded. And before they could say Allah, they'd been dismissed from their jobs. This man had Moi's ear, and Moi favored him. Anything he asked Moi, Moi gave him. So that was the right leader of the Kamba nation. Because he was very powerful. That's the truth. Illiterate as he was. Boss, hii PhD umeuliza ni PhD in which field? Can you be specific? I don't have a clue. PhD zinapeanga field gani? Nipatie examples. I'm telling you. Anyway, let's proceed. I hope you now believe me when I tell you that the leader of the Kalenjin community currently and the spokesperson for the Kalenjin community is Senator Gideon Moi. And not the most influential and the most popular politician in the community, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. And incidentally, there were many such cases during the Moi days, because the KANU government did not like popular politicians. Oh yes, because if you're a popular politician, you can oppose the government. You can even decide to take over the government, according to their thinking in those days, because you're very popular. They feared popular politicians. Popular politicians were handled with great care. So it was not unusual to go to a certain area, to a certain community, and you find that the least popular leader there, the most hated leader, is actually the leader of the community. I wanted to emphasize that point so that we all understand. Now, what most people don't know is that this has a direct bearing and an impact in an election. Oh yes, because the community has to consult. The elders have to consult. And then after the elders have consulted, because they can see further than the rest of the community, and because they're supposed to guide the community, they then give their recommendations to the community. Yeah. And those who respect the elders, those who respect the community, must follow those recommendations. Therefore, I need to ask you, when Gideon Moi makes his recommendation, to the elders, what do you think that recommendation will be? And of course, the recommendation he makes will be final. Nobody will be able to contest it. He's the leader of the community. So do you think Gideon Moi will go and say, as a community, we will vote for William Samoei Ruto? Do you think he'll go and say that? No, of course not. And I think now you're beginning to understand why there's a tussle in the first place over this Talai elders appointment of the leader of the community. You can now understand. Because William Samoei Ruto knew very well that it was important. If it was not important, there would be no tussle, right? People don't fight over something that is not important, do they? They don't. And so in this whole mess, you can be sure that there are going to be votes for Azimio from the Kalenjin nation. Solid, genuine votes. Of course, the prediction is that most in the community will reject this suggestion, this recommendation. After all, times have changed. The new generation don't care so much for these cultural things, most of them. However, there will be a segment of the population within the Rift Valley who will vote Azimio because the leader of the community, the boss, has said they vote Azimio. Oh yes. You know, very early in this game, even before the presidential campaigns had started, I think you noticed Raila Odinga warming up very much, more than he has ever warmed up to before, to Gideon Moi. Gideon Moi and Baba were seen together frequently. I think now you're beginning to understand. Baba was just locking his votes early. Nakwambia, that man is a guru in politics. And what makes matters worse for the deputy president is that these Talai elders know the reason why the late retired President Moi refused very stubbornly to ever see William Samoei Ruto. Ruto paid various courtesy visits. He was never allowed in to see the former president. Other smaller politicians had like a through pass. MPs went in to see him, MCAs even. But Ruto, tawe. There must be a reason. And those Talai elders know the reason. And of course this will influence many of their decisions. And this is why, probably, this splinter group of the Talai elders quickly, confidently appointed Gideon Moi as the leader and the spokesperson of the community. And of course, all this tells us that you need to reconsider that a man called Gideon Moi may be much more influential than you earlier thought. Oh yes, and now you know why I'm saying that. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.